Crystal Howell. Of course, she is a certified internal auditor. And today we're talking about investing in yourself. And that is definitely money well spent. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to have you back. You had a good weekend?
I did. I'm curious about these chores that Shane does that allows him to free up his entire weekend.
Me too, girl.
It's not really free up. You start on Friday, then you got to take Saturdays down and running around and getting those critical things done so that you can prepare for Sunday morning. And it may not necessarily be church, but you prepare for Sunday morning, so you have that energy, and you go through your Sunday and relax and wind down as the day goes along, and then get ready for Monday morning.
We can have a
But you
segment just for him
Just
to
for his
explain
weekend.
how he gets
Shane's
this
weekend.
done. Yes.
Yeah.
Crystal, when you're investing in yourself, what are some of the considerations that should be thought of first?
Well, we would have had our segment so far discussing how you will be documenting everything that you have to do. And we had gotten to the point where we realized what we have just isn't enough for us to get through the day. And as we discussed, there are only two ways that you can change your circumstances. You can either reduce your expenditure, which we've gone through, or you can increase your revenue. Last week we spoke about investing in different financial products. So you would have had your term deposits, your bank accounts, your mutual funds, all of these different things that or vehicles that you can use as what we consider passive income. We're getting a bit more into active income. So your career is one that most people will be aware of, and it's many times the main source of income for persons. You go to your job, you have to be involved. This income cannot be earned unless you are present, which is why it's called active as opposed to passive, where for a bank account, you don't have to be there watching over the bank account or at the financial institution for it to grow. But with the active income, this is where you start to look at how you are investing in yourself. And there are many different opportunities, but each one is going to call for a lot of planning and thought as to how you're going to make sure that you maximize this potential, because you're only one person with 24 hours in a day. And how you decide to split that time up will make a difference in how you will change your financial circumstances.
Excellent. Okay, so you have to, when people talk about passive income, often they also look at things like, I don't know, maybe like some kind of vending machine that can make money for them, but they don't have to be there. Is passive income options or passive income options like that a good thing?
The thing about passive income is sometimes it takes time for you to get to that point where you can have this passive income. So for instance, somebody who is renting, they didn't just wake up one day, well, most of us or most persons didn't wake up one day and have a home or an apartment building that they can rent out. They would have had to invest in themselves and do certain things so that they'll be able to earn enough income that they could either get a mortgage or some other form of income to be able to purchase this investment that then brings them passive income. So even when you see persons in those circumstances, it's not always a situation where they just woke up and they can now sit back and say, let me just have some rent coming in from a tenant who is not a person I will have to invest in every day and be there to see this money coming back in. So this is where I talk about investing in yourself. It can be either through your career, or you can have what many people call a side hustle. And the thing is about the side hustles is that many persons get into them without doing their homework, because you're good at making cakes, or you're good at repairing vehicles, or you can give some person financial advice. But you have to look at it from a holistic perspective and understand that having a business is a lot more than just being good at something. And this is the part where you have to start doing the investing, doing the work, doing the homework and the background to understand what it will take to make that side hustle profitable, make it successful, and to make sure it's not a mediocre venture that fizzles out in the short run.
Okay, all right. So the active income now. So you want it, should you look to things that you absolutely love doing, your hobbies?
There are pros and cons to everything. There's never an absolute. So the great thing about having a career that you love and that it's your passion and everything else is that you will feel sometimes that you're not even going to work. For persons like, say, for instance, you're part of a gym and your gym instructor, he really loves what he does. You could see the passion and the exuberance that comes over from him doing something or her doing something that they love versus some person who is just being paid to do something they have to do. The person does the bare minimum or their heart isn't in it, and sometimes you could feel the difference. The downside to that is, where's your reprieve when you want to relax, because you have then put all the stress, because a job, it does have its stress, and you've now associated stress to the thing that you found as your passion. So you have to make sure you have a balance. Of course, I will definitely advocate, if you can find something you're passionate about and you can make money from it, I wholeheartedly encourage you to do so, but understand the stresses that come along with that so that you can manage them properly. And finances is one of those areas, because there are many things to look at. You have marketing, you have the sponsorships and being able to raise funds and everything else. You have the finance, you have HR if you do decide you have to hire additional persons.
Right.
You have a lot of things to think about that may not necessarily be in your forte, but you get into business and then you're overwhelmed with all of these things and you feel like, no one told me this is what getting into, business is going to be all about, and you feel a little lost. So that's why I encourage persons, do your homework, understand all aspects of getting into this venture before you start. And I'm not saying you have to go out there and roll a perfect product, but you certainly need to understand some of the basics before you get involved.
You mentioned side hustle. It feels like in these times, a side hustle is
Necessary,
now
boy.
more permanent, a permanent fixture for everyone. It has become a reality. You need to have that additional income. How do you make sure in a situation like we're living in now that you don't water it down, that you don't give a half approach,
That
a
is-
haphazard approach to both ends of the scale?
That is definitely a very important question, because many times, this is what I mean about having a mediocre product, because you get into it not realizing how much is involved, and then you kind of give whatever you can, and you're giving your customer something that is not a full product or something that you've put your heart into. And this is where I say budgeting. This is why I stress so much writing down what you need, having a plan, and we'll get more into that as well too. Trying to make sure that you have a plan of all the things that you will need to have done. Not necessarily perfect, but definitely need to have in place before you decide to start this venture, because you don't want, because word of mouth gets around out there.
Indeed.
Oh, I went today and it was all right last week, but this week something was missing. It wasn't that good, and then it gets around and your side hustle burns before you can even get it off the ground.
Quality assurance is so key. We'll come
Have to
back
be
and talk a bit
consistent.
more about that after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we're talking about working that budget and investing in yourself this morning, making sure that your business really is producing a quality product so your customers can keep coming back, and that demand is there. Crystal Howell, certified internal auditor, is spending some time explaining what you need to do. So you need to set up a plan.
Yes.
A plan is key to make sure that you have a successful business. You can't let everything run just awry. You
Correct.
got to have that plan in place.
Yes. So I'm going to use an example so that people will have something that they can hold on to. And two of the popular things that persons get into would either be selling food or sometimes offering a service like fitness, dance aerobics, or maybe these are the things that I'm seeing because that's the area I'm involved in as well.
That's true, though.
Yeah. So, okay, so it's not just me. But you have this burning desire because you can cook really well. Everybody raves about your food. You decide that you're going to start selling food on a Friday, or you've decided to open 7 days a week, and you're going to go dive straight in. What is your plan to make sure that this gets off the ground? So let's take food, for example. Do you know where you're going to be selling your food? Do you know how much it costs to get those products in? So you're selling chicken and chips. Let's keep it simple. how much chicken and chips do you need? How much chicken and potatoes, do you need to be able to sell enough product throughout the evening or for however long you've decided? Do you know where is the best place to get it? Do you know how long it's going to take to prepare it? Are you going to have so much demand that you are going to have to do this by yourself? Or are you going to have to bring some person else? How are you marketing? Are you relying on social media, WhatsApp? WhatsApp is limited many times to just your friends. Are you going to go on Facebook, Instagram? Are you going to purchase some kind of advertising and be able to send out a blast so that persons outside of your circle know about your product? And when you do that, and you have this additional influx of persons.
Are you ready for it? Yeah.
What happens when it's too many persons? Are you going to turn them back? What happens if it's not enough persons and you have all of this product
Can't
here?
afford to do that.
Exactly. So when you have persons that you bring on and tell them, all right, I'm going to come and let you help me to sell, how are you paying them? Are you going to give them a salary, or are you going to share the profits with them? How are you going to split it up? Have you calculated how much it is that you're going to have to sell this product at so that you can make a profit?
Well, that is very key. Yeah, the profit is the key to
The
the
profit
business.
is the key. But
It's something that we will have to develop on more next week.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for coming. We need to get this information. We see
we'll
so
flesh
many.
it all out in the weeks to come.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it too. We are seeing so much more of those food businesses pop up. Also, people are doing fitness on the beach.
Yep.
And you see the blast on Instagram,
Yep.
creating good business models. So we got a lot to chat about as we talk about getting your business up and running and making sure that it has that longevity as we get you to work that budget and manage those pennies with Crystal Howell every Monday at this time.